Hey everyone, welcome back to Wild Tony Farms, and today we're going to be getting into a new video. And before we get into the video, please go on and click the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Let's go on and get into the video. Well, everyone, welcome back to another WILDWOODS Beekeeping podcast. Thank you all for joining tonight. I appreciate everybody who's already in. We have 5 people on here. I'm sure it'll grow as we continue. It takes people just a little bit of time to join in. So I'll give some people some time before we get into the main topic for tonight's stream. But let's first start out and welcome everybody who isn't here. So we have Steve from New York. Thanks for checking in. Mary Wickenheiser in the house from Southeastern Michigan. Thanks for checking in, Mary. Always I'm glad to have you. Keith Spillman from Half Tracks and Honeybees from North Carolina. I'm sure you're still probably pretty busy, as so I am as well. Mike Tangway, thanks for checking in tonight. Really good to have you as well. And we also have Southern Louisiana family. Also, thank you for checking in. A new name. I haven't seen them in here before, so it's good to have you. Thanks for checking in. We have 8 people in so far, but I'll get some updates and answer questions. If there's any questions in the chat, if you want to put them in there, I'll answer those as we go on with tonight's stream. Don't have a presentation for tonight, but I do have a interesting topic that I kind of thought would be kind of fun to kind of dive into. It's some things that we kind of wish that we would have known before we started. So I'll kind of talk about that in just a second, and y'all feel free to put in some things that you wish that you would have kind of known before you got into bees. Oh, no worries, Lee. That's Lee from Kodiak Farms. Thanks for checking in. Richard, Collector Rick's Honeybees. Thanks for checking in tonight. We have Sarah's Happy Hives over there. She has a chat on Tuesdays, which is good. I try to watch all the fellow beekeepers' chats. They're always good. Thanks for checking in. So right now it's actually raining. So what I was going to do is I was going to go outside and do it out there, since it's really nice out there and it's always enjoyable to do it out there. But since it's raining and that I don't want to be out there during that. It's raining right now, so I don't think I don't think picks up rain. So hopefully it won't annoy y'all or anything. I don't think it will. Let's see. Let me make sure I don't have any updates to share out. Well, I do have one that I'm going to get into a little bit later. It's going to kind of go with one of with one of the topics that I will be talking about. I was on the wrong account. No worries, Lee. It's always fun. Stinging that like button. That's one thing I was just about to say. Make sure y'all go on and click that thumbs up button. Would always help me out if you do that. It's always appreciated. And make sure to share the stream out if you would. Always appreciate that as well. Always appreciated for your support. So my last video, if y'all haven't seen that, after this video, you have to, this live stream, you have to go and check that out. It's a pretty good one, I thought, and it's doing pretty well, so that's good. And I'll get into that in just a second. It's going to go into one of my other topics, like I just mentioned. So let's kind of start off with just our main topic for today. Let's dive right into it. Things that we kind of that at least I wish that I knew before getting into bees. There's a lot of things. Of course, we wish we knew a lot more things than we did going into beekeeping. That's natural. We'd be better beekeepers, but at the same time, it's just a learning curve for us all. We're not going to know everything going into beekeeping. Even if we watch all the YouTube videos there is to watch, it's going to be impossible to know every single aspect before getting into bees. Really, there's a lot of things that you need to know whenever you get into the bees. I call that hands-on experience. So it's really impossible to know everything. But we're just kind of saying that these are some things that, we would have liked to have known. So number one, which is really big in my opinion, that I really didn't really know, is reading books, reading all of the beekeeping stuff that you would expect to read, videos. Everything, kind of resolves around the same thing. Bees are going to do so and so, such and such. They're going to do, they're not really going to go outside of that zone that most books kind of put things in. Like swarming, it's mainly the same thing every time, nothing really different. Those type of topics that that I've talked about. That's really not always true. Bees don't always read the books. So that's one thing that I would have liked to know, that they can do weird things and are unpredictable. Just because a book says they're going to do exactly this, or a video, doesn't 100% mean that. Of course, most times that is the case, but not all the times. Bees will do what they want to do, and we really can't change that. We just have to work with them, learn more about them. That's kind of what we're doing right now. So that's number one for me. I think that's pretty big. So that kind of takes me into my video. Bees can do really weird and unpredictable things. Here, I'll be right back. I was just going to get this water right here. But what I was going to say was that bees do unpredictable things. And that's what happened to me the other day. I had a very, very weird type of situation kind of occur a couple days ago with this video that I uploaded Saturday. And what happened is pretty much they started out as a swarm, right? And left bees back at the original colony, but at first it looked like practically all the bees left. There's pretty much nothing in the original colony. The only thing that was in the original colony was some baby bees. And usually there's still workers in there. It's half of the colony, but it just seemed like I opened it up, there's pretty much no bees in there. But then the bees landed on a tree, and I saw on that tree those bees, and it was one of the biggest swarms that I've seen, but it was kind of a difficult situation. Can't really explain it. You have to watch the video. You'll be able to look at it and let me know your opinion when you watch it. It's kind of better to watch it before me telling you, because it's just kind of weird. But when I continue on into the situation, I went across the fence onto this the other side and checked, tried to get them back, and I did for a little bit. Put them in a box, in a nuke, double nuke, put them in there. Then I did come back, let's see here, the next day, and they left. And you know where they went? They ended up on the top of a tree. Couldn't get them back. They're too far up, from there. So what would normally happen in that scenario, as you would expect in that scenario when they go up into a tall tree and leave you, is they're gonna leave. They're gonna go find themselves a new home. Here's the difference with this situation, though, for me. What they decided to do when they went up into that tall tree after they left me, they decided to go on the front of my hive. Now it started to pour rain, so I was watching the forecast, and it said it's supposed to rain around 7 o'clock, and it looks like they were right this time. I wish they weren't, but that's just how the case is sometimes. Some strong thunderstorms supposed to come through. Probably not be bad, but anyway, those bees went up there to the tall tree, but then what happened was those bees ended up flying onto the front of one of my hives. So then I checked that colony that those bees flew onto, and what they did was, I think a lot of the bees might have went into that colony. And on the ground, you could see some dead bees, and they were fighting on the entrance, so that's kind of clear that something's not really right. I knew what it was. Checked in, and the queen from that swarm was all bundled up. Those bees already killed her. So, that's unfortunate, but things happen. And the other queen, the original queen from, I call it the blue hive. It is the blue hive, that original one from last year. Yeah, last year, whenever I lost every single colony, that one was left. This is the one I'm talking about. That swarm, one in front of that box, went into that hive, and those bees from the blue hive killed that queen. But what I also thought was somewhat interesting on the timing was that they were actually killing the blue colony's queen too. So I thought maybe the bees from the swarm was killing that queen. But then I opened up the frames. What I found on the frames was some queen cells. And what I think probably what happened is that queen that I'm talking about is like 4 years old. So those bees were replacing her. So it's just the timing was kind of weird. But that's what I'm talking about. That bees are very unpredictable. You would never really predict the bees to do that, where the swarm would go on to the front of a hive and the queen would get killed or anything like that. You really don't predict that. That's what I mean. I would have kind of liked to have known, before I got started, is that bees don't always read the books. They can do weird things and are unpredictable. That's what happened to me in that scenario. Kind of shows the truth to that. All right, so while I was talking about that, we have some more people in here. We have Philip Morse. Thanks for checking in, Philip, from RTX Honeybees. Randy, the Tar Heel Beekeeper. I think he's in North Carolina, if I am right. I think that's where you're at, Randy. You can correct me if I'm wrong. So that's number one for me. All right, let's go to number two here. Don't have a PowerPoint presentation. Kind of wish I did, but it's okay. I'm just kind of going off the top here. All right, next one is you can't say you've ever have. Whenever I, was beekeeping, got into it, anytime I lost a hive, just one hive, even if it was over winter, one hive, I would, what's the word? Just would put myself down because of it. And I don't believe that you should put yourself down over losing a colony. But what I do believe you should do is just look at what happened, what went wrong, and what you can do to fix that. That's what I wish I would have known, is that whenever you lose the colony, that's just a learning curve, and that's a step forward to figuring out what your strategy is and what you can change with your strategy to do something different. So you can't save every hive, but what you can do is if you lose a colony, just learn from that experience, learning from your mistakes, and not really putting yourself down about it, not quitting just because you lost a colony or you had a bad year, because we all have bad years. I had my worst year was 2023, which most people know. I mentioned it probably 100 times on the channel, but really it was one of the worst years for us down here in Alabama and everybody down south. So everybody has bad years. You just have to learn how you have to grow from that, learn from the mistakes that you make, and just keep going. I cried when I lost my first hive. Absolutely. That's what a lot of us beekeepers do when we get bees and do that. And it's natural for all beekeepers to do that. You just got to learn from those mistakes and not put yourself down about it. Steve with the $10 donation. Thank you so much, Steve. Really appreciate the super chat. Always appreciated. All right, what's the next one? Well, the next one that I think is another big one is that not every, I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but I guess I'll just say it this way, but not every beekeeper, including myself on YouTube, is 100% right on what they say. That goes for me too, because not everything I say, now that might not mean that what they say is false 100%, but it means is that it just doesn't work for you. So what I see a lot of times with new beekeepers getting into beekeeping, watching YouTube videos such as myself, that's how I got started, is that when they watch a video of a beekeeper saying what to do, a lot of times they forget that, hey, they have a different location, a different climate. You can't always do what those beekeepers, are saying just because of the climate differences, because those differences really make a difference in whenever you're trying to keep your bees alive. So, like, if I were to give advice to a Canadian beekeeper saying exactly how I keep bees, they're going to think I'm crazy for doing things really early in February, because in February for Canadians up there in Canada, their bees are still way, way far away from spring. So just if you are a new beekeeper on here and you're kind of going through this, wondering kind of what to do in this situation, what you really need to do is just find someone in your location. You can still learn from beekeepers such as myself. If you are a beekeeper who's up north, there are some things you can take from me and put it in your apiary, but you just have to remember that not everything that beekeeper says is what you need to do, because what a lot of beginners do is do exactly what that beekeeper says to do, and a lot of times you probably don't need to do that. You just need to take bits, I call it screws and bolts, from that and replace it with some different screws and bolts that fit it. That's kind of the perspective I like to put on it. I wish someone had told me I can't save every hive. I had to learn when to let it go. Absolutely. I actually just got done saying that. You have to let it go. Learn from that mistake. Learn from what you might have done wrong. Because a lot of times, you know what? A lot of times you did nothing wrong sometimes. There's a lot of times where us beekeepers just lose colonies, and it's not even the beekeeper's fault. There's a lot of times where bees just don't make it, and it's just the way the world works in all the insect world. Hey, Tim and Hannah from Gun on Bees. They got the first spot today, so congratulations. All right, let's get to the next one. We got 19 people on here. If y'all would, please go and click the thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe if you're new here. Would always appreciate it. So before we get into the next one, since we have a decent following on here, and I'll kind of mention it throughout the live stream, I actually have a giveaway announcement for the YouTube channel for a future live stream. Not sure when it will be, for 3,000 subscribers. So whenever I hit 3,000 subscribers, I will do a special giveaway for that, because I'm not really far off. I'm like 600 away. I'm almost 500 away, like 530 or something away. So just to let y'all know, that's kind of what we're gonna probably do. Not gonna tell y'all right this second what I'll be giving away. I kind of know what I'll be doing, but I want to keep it a surprise for most beekeepers. I have it, use it a lot, and it's really helpful for me, and I think a lot of beekeepers would appreciate to have it. So we'll be doing that whenever we hit 3,000 subscribers, which probably shouldn't be too long, but we'll see how things go. So just make sure to share the channel if you want to. We always appreciate it. Hey, Jan Hancock, hello, Grayson, and all of our bee family. Thank you for checking in tonight. Really appreciate you, Pastor Larry, Jan. Thank you, Debbie Part. That's my grandmama. Thank you for checking in. So proud of you all, and excuse me, I'm starting to stutter. So proud of you, and everything that you have learned. Keep going, Grayson. Absolutely, thank you. Let's see. All right, let's continue on to our next thing for us to do. I guess the next thing we'll talk about is that this is kind of for us more advanced beekeepers, us beekeepers who are a little bit bigger, who are doing more things than beginners. That cutouts are not as easy as it looks, and that kind of went towards me as well, because. And I'm not going to spend a whole long time on this. It ain't really big or anything. I mean, but, cutouts to me, they're not really the easiest thing to do. I watch Randy McCaffrey. I watch Mr. Ed, their videos. Not all the time, not able to watch every single video. It's impossible to do that for any beekeeping channel. But if I can catch their video, I always enjoy them. They do cutouts and stuff. Cutouts are definitely not really easy So whenever you watch them, just know that it takes a lot of work to do it. Those beekeepers have a lot of experience when it comes to cutouts, like Randy and Mr. Ed and Yappy, the bee man, who's up in North Alabama, not too far north from here. So it's just kind of another thing I kind of wanted to mention. Cutouts are definitely not the easiest thing to do if you're looking towards that, but definitely learn and figure that out. I've done one, and at first it wasn't really that bad. It was okay. It wasn't the worst thing. Wasn't easy by any means, but but it was kind of good where they were. I kind of got the feel of it. That's kind of what I would say. I kind of got the feel of it. Still not easy. Hey, Jessica Fairfax, thanks for checking in. Let me know how y'all's bees are doing. Hope everybody's bees are doing fairly well. I'm hoping every beekeeper is doing what they need to do and things are going well. Hey, Bobby Part, that's my granddad, so thanks for checking in. I don't even have all the tools to catch swarms on the wing. Yep. Oh, let's get to the next one. Let's see here. I guess the last one I really put on here, there's some more that I can talk about, but these are just some PowerPoint ones that I kind of put on here. It's like 5 of them. Honey, harvesting honey is also, it's pretty much the same thing as what I was just talking about earlier. Harvesting honey is not as easy as it looks. And I have a story to kind of share for all of us beekeepers to kind of back this up. Is that whenever we got bees, we didn't extract honey or anything like that, but like a couple years later when we got back into bees, we bought an extractor, we bought everything, we brought the honey cutter, we bought every single thing that we can use to extract honey. We still have all that stuff that I can use to do that. But when we figured it wouldn't be really hard to do the extraction, but it was really tough for us new beekeepers. It was really tough for us. It was that, and that the bees that we were taking the honey from did not like us at all. They were all over us. It was just new. You can imagine new beekeepers trying to extract honey and mean bees flying all over. We were able to get it done. Got some stings. Got everything done. It wasn't easy. Last year was able to extract some honey. It went a little bit more smoother than the past 2 times we extracted honey. But it's still tough work. I mean, it really is. Lifting all those boxes. Sometimes people don't realize how much work it goes in to doing it. Time to do it. Takes time. It takes effort. I almost had a robbing frenzy last year. I had all the boxes outside, and the honey bees were trying to get in there, and there was a whole bunch of bees flying around in the area. A whole bunch of bees got in the honey bucket, but the good thing was that a lot of it did get filtered out with the little filter, which was a good thing. We don't want bees and honey, that we sell. That would be terrible. But they got all in the honey. I had a whole bunch of recommendations on that video actually from last year. It got a lot of views and a lot of people commented, gave me some really good ideas for next time I extract. I do it like in like a type of tent, screen tent, where not a whole lot of bees can get in there. Now, whenever you're opening the door to it, I would suppose that bees would get in, but not as many bees would be in that little tent, protecting the honey and not letting a robbing situation kind of get going. Because last year we kind of did it in like late July, so you could probably imagine it being a time where there's not a whole lot of nectar out there for the bees, and it definitely kind of almost got out of hand, but it actually rained a little bit, so it kind of helped out a little bit where that wasn't what happened. I got stung inside my house by a hitchhiker bee. They don't like hugs. Yep, I don't think bees really enjoy them. They'll sting you. Grayson, what's your last video? And 2 thumbs up on you shaking that swarm like a grown man. Don't want to give it all away, but great job. Thank you, Tim and Hannah. They did end up getting away because I did kind of detail the story, but for people who want to watch it, I kind of already explained it, but it's kind of hard to 100% understand without watching the video. So if you go watch that video, it will really help you out. But what's not on the video, Tim and Hannah and everybody else in this live stream, what was not in that video that you'll see is the aftermath of them leaving, going up into a tall tree. Here's the aftermath of what happened, because I explained it earlier, but I don't think Tim and Hannah were there. And some other folks joined in too, so y'all be able to kind of get up to date. So basically what went down was the swarm went up into a tall tree, left away, which is what happens sometimes. It's just way things go. I had that happen to me a different time this year, so I was not really worried about it. Just kind of let it go, you know. But what happened the next day was that colony went on the front of the blue hive. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, the blue hive, it's basically the hive from last year that I had. That was the only one I had left. They went on the front of that box, and basically I went in that hive to make sure everything was okay, make sure that original colony was not make sure not too many bees were dying. And not many bees died. There were some on the bottom of the on the ground in front of the hive, which is understandable. But I checked in the bottom, on the bottom board, there was 2 clusters of bees. The first cluster I opened up was the queen from the swarm. So the bees killed that queen, which is really unfortunate, but that's just sometimes how things go. But then the other ball was the original queen from that colony. So I was like starting to worry that, oh no, now they're gonna have to make them a new queen. It's gonna take a little while for them. But whenever I checked into the frames, I did see some queen cells in there. So that kind of answered my questions. That basically what they were doing was superseding the queen, because that queen was 4 years old. That's kind of up to date. I actually got some video of that, and I might put it in the video so more people will see it as a part 2 or whatever. It's better extracting with friends / family. Long day on your own. Absolutely. I actually did have some help on the later bit of the extraction. My granddad came up to the house, kind of helped out a little bit. My mom and my brother did help. My brother did help out whenever I went out to the bee yard. He basically, what he did, he was just holding the camera for me, because I couldn't set up a tripod and do that. That's too much work, So he basically held the tripod, or not the tripod, the camera with the little thing that you can kind of hold around in video, which was a big help. But I did most of that part, like lifting the boxes, putting them in there. The way I did it though was kind of, I wouldn't say it's the worst way, but it just kind of took a while. I basically took every single frame out of each super / deep of honey and brushed the bees off. You can imagine that takes a lot of time. When one waits on the outside of my jacket and waits for me to take it off, then zap, I just say respect. Yeah, a lot of times whenever I'm leaving my bee yard, that happens to me all the time. There's this one bee that waits on side of the on my bee suit and waits for me to open it. Yeah. All right, let me see if there's any more PowerPoints that I can kind of talk about this subject, and that might be about it for our topic for tonight. If y'all have any things that y'all would have wished you would have known before you got into beekeeping, please let them know in the live stream. It's always welcome. I'm just going through these PowerPoints if there's anything that's a value of saying that I put in here, because I took a while to think about things that I might need to mention. Because, if I'm just on here just trying to think of things on the top of my head, that's not really going to go well. I have to beforehand think about it and think of some things that I really would have liked to have known, and then I just write them down on notes so I'll remember it. Oh no, this is actually one thing that I just actually remembered on the top of my head that is also really big, is just no, I just forgot it. Oh, come on, Grayson. Um there we go. Here you go. It came back. Bees will swarm even if you manage space. Now I've talked about that a lot of times on past live streams that even if you had space, bees will swarm. That's one thing that I probably would have liked to know, because back then when getting into bees, I kind of thought, hey, if I give them space, it's a 100% that they're not going to swarm. But that's not the case. They'll swarm even if you had space. It's just whenever they get into that mode for swarming, that they're going to swarm. When you're all checking in, please go and click the thumbs up button. Would greatly appreciate it. Hey, Pastor Larry. Thanks for checking in. Hallelujah, Bee Farm. Let me make sure I don't miss any comments. I always miss comments. If y'all have any questions, feel free to put them in there. Okay, that's another thing I just remembered too. I also do want to mention. So the forecast for this week, here's my forecast on the screen. You can look at that. It's really tiny words. So people who can't look that far, I barely can even see it too. It's just so little words or whatever. But basically, if you look at that, the whole week and going into next week is forecasted for just a whole bunch of rain, as it is right now. So like Tuesday, which is tomorrow, is a 40% chance. Wednesday is a 40% chance. Thursday is a 40% chance. Not all the time, but I think off and on. Friday is a 30% chance. Saturday is a 40. Sunday 40. Monday 50 next week, which would be my live stream. Tuesday it's going to be 50, and then Wednesday it's going to be 40. So that's kind of what it's looking like for us. So if it rains all day or most of the day, there's a good chance I won't be out in the bee yard any of this week. It just depends on the timing. We'll see. Not really 100% sure. Sometimes the weather does change, but if that's kind of how it stays, then that's kind of how it would most likely stay that way. But we'll see. Things can change. Let's look at the temperatures though. That's not really too hot though. If you see on that, it's pretty much the whole week. It's pretty much going to be from 86 to 90. That's pretty much the range for our whole week. And the lows, as you can see, it just says pretty much 72, 71, 71, 61. 68, 73. Same thing throughout the whole week. It looks like it's kind of even throughout the whole thing. The weathermen are not always right by any means, but we will see. Randy, dipped 200 pieces. That's really good. Awesome. That's good. I've been seeing some of your posts about your waxing stuff. That's really, really good. I don't wax my stuff. I probably need to. It'd probably be good, but I need to wax frames too. That's really what I need to do, because I had a problem also in a video of mine. Actually, that ain't even a video yet, but it's supposed to come out probably pretty soon. I had to fix a whole bunch of comb. These bees are just outgrowing everything, and they're starting to draw a lot of wonky comb. I had to fix it. They weren't really too mean though to me, so I was blessed with that. A lot of times whenever I'm starting to have no choice to break comb, they'll kind of get a little agitated, which is to be expected. Well, here's another thing that I also did want to mention for our topic. What I wish that we would have kind of known before, that I would have liked to known, is that spring prep actually doesn't start right at spring. It starts way early. Because that's the thing that I've noticed too with a lot of new beekeepers, and not just new beekeepers, everybody. I think I did okay job going into spring, having things ready, but these bees so far have just been really exploding out of equipment. Had all the equipment ready, had a whole bunch of boxes, a whole bunch of frames, whole bunch of bottom boards that I had no idea what to do with, and all of a sudden now I don't have anything. It kind of shows how much the bees have been really starting to expand. The boxes are getting full, having to add supers over deeps. But that's another thing that spring prep starts in late winter, getting ready to go into your spring season. Looks like we're already here at 35 minutes. I have 17 folks on here. If y'all would go and click the thumbs up button, I would appreciate that. I always appreciate that stuff. I'm just trying to think of anything else, of any more updates. I think that's pretty much about it of things to talk about, at least in my apiary. Same as last week. Everything is growing. The bees are doing really well. Right now I have 9 colonies that have mated queens, and I have 4 that have that are waiting queens. 2 of the colonies already have virgin queens, and they'll probably hopefully get mated soon. Then the other 2 have not swarm cells, queen cells. And I also did set out another trap too down at a little creek area where they kind of like to go down there and hang out. Not hang out, kind of go down there. And I had good luck down there. I don't know. I've had good luck down there at the creek. There's a little creek running through there, and I caught 2 swarms. Now one of them got away, but still, I guess you can say I kind of caught it for a little bit, but then they decided to go on and leave. But set out another one down there. Just did my method that I usually do. Put some swarm lure on there, and we'll see if it catches anything. I actually set out another one a couple of weeks ago down there, replacing one that I brought back. I eventually finally did put it back down there. I'm going to be doing waxing at the North Carolina State meeting at Blue Ridge. Nice. Probably, I hear that you're running pretty good wax dipping thing going on your way. That's really good. Make sure I didn't miss anybody coming in here. I think I got everybody. If anybody wasn't in here, whenever I plan to do probably a giveaway, whenever we hit 30,000 subscribers on here, we're getting pretty close to that. So on a live stream, so I'll announce it, but you have to be on the live stream to win, as usual. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel to win. There's pretty much to be able to win whenever we hit 30,000 subscribers is number one, hitting 30,000 subscribers, and the next thing will be just make sure you're subscribed, and then being there for the live stream, and then we'll spin the little wheel, and whoever wins gets to have it. It's fun to see the different ways people make money with beekeeping. Oh, absolutely! It's always always enjoy that. Seeing how people can make a living with, or make money with beekeeping, whether it be honey, or if it's going to be selling bees, or whatever it is. I always enjoy that. It's really my favorite thing. I haven't made any really money with bees this year. I've just been expanding. There's some really nice hives, some nukes and stuff. I'm not selling those or anything, but they're some really good looking colonies. Hopefully next year, if we can go into winter with I can go into winter with 10 to 12 colonies, or maybe even 9 or around there. I can split those colonies up and do a good amount of stuff next year, because this year I came out with 4 colonies, went in with 6. So this year was just kind of a trying to make some foundation for me, so that next year I have a lot of foundation and a lot of area to be able to do things the way I kind of want to do them next year. Because this year I really didn't have a whole bunch of room to be doing a whole bunch of stuff. And what I mean by stuff is making honey and doing queen rearing and all this different stuff. And next year I probably won't be able to do any queen rearing or anything, but we'll see. It just depends on how things go. Probably the next year I'll be in that stage where I have hopefully a good foundation to that point where I can do a whole bunch of other stuff. Because that's kind of what I wanted to do, is just have a good foundation going into next year. 10 colonies, 12, 13, how many ever I go in with, that's hopefully come out with about 10, having a good foundation. It's that's honestly that was my focus. And then next year I'll be able to probably do some honey. And when I speak about honey, I'm not going to be extracting any honey this year, if anybody's curious. Only reason is I'm just going to leave it on for the bees. Since I was doing a lot of splitting whenever they were swarming, I'd rather just leave it on there for them, since they're new colonies, and let them kind of build up, let them make their honey, keep it for winter, and then I'll feed a little bit over winters. I will, and then we'll see how things go. I'm not really 100% sure. "41 minutes. That's pretty fast. I really didn't feel like we've been on here for 41 minutes, but that's good. If y'all would, please go and click the thumbs up button if you haven't already. If you have any questions, put them in there, so we can, I'll answer them if anybody has any. Keith from Larimore Farms. Hey everyone, sorry to be late. No worries. Thanks for checking in. Always good to have you. So let's see here. I've been thinking about when we're gonna be kind of pretty much done with our flow for this year, because I've noticed that bees are still bringing in a good amount of nectar, which is a good thing to see. But I'm just kind of keeping an eye out. I'm gonna start trying to do some open feeding here soon, and see kind of how things go. Good night, Sarah. Thanks for taking in tonight. I still do need to get more guests on. This might probably gonna be my next focus for the next couple live streams, is to try to get some guests on. I just kind of haven't got to that. Been busy with bees. Hey, Jack and Danette, thanks for checking in. Grayson, do you make any products besides honey? Not really, Philip. Mainly honey. We have made candles before. My mom made candles a while back, and we still have them. Not really for sale or anything, but maybe we can make some candles and sell them. But we can do that. We've done that before. We've of course done honey. What else? Have we done anything else? I'm thinking that's about it. Want to kind of do some wax honey. That'd be kind of fun. I think we've kind of done that before, where we just put honey and wax together, but a little bit more of a professional thing. I kind of was looking at those things that you can use to do that. I kind of forgot what they were called, that Bruce had on his thing. But I think that's about it. I think that's kind of the products that we've made. We kind of want to make more. Of course, you have a lot of things out there to do, like lip balms and stuff like that, which we probably can do. We just have to. But we've done candles in the past, and they smell good too. With the beeswax, they're they're in the living room. Multiples, like a couple that are kind of tall, like like this long, and about that. Or their cameras over there, about that a little bit wide. Then we have some that are kind of big, but only like this tall or whatever. Just a couple kind of decorative things. I was gonna mention something else too. I just kind of got sidetracked. Let's see here. I can't remember. You should try lip balm. Takes very little wax, costs about 50 cents, and you can sell for $4 or $5. Wow, that's very interesting. I've heard a lot about lip balms and stuff like that. That you can try to sell. If it takes very little wax, that would be really like something that would be a good idea to kind of try out for me. I think I'll do that sometime. Because if you don't have to take too much wax, you don't got to take a whole bunch of it for because candles, they take a little bit more wax. That's why we don't do them really often, because we don't want to be taking all that wax unless if it's wax that we use from our honey. When we extract honey, we'll have that leftover wax, we can use that for candles and stuff. But I want to try some lip balms. I've heard that that they're good, and if it only costs 50 cents and sell it for $4 or $5, you're getting a good some good money from that. Philip, I'd like to try that. I have some darker wax I use for candles. Yeah, I want to try that too. One of your best bee products is your YouTube and education you share. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. I try to share things. Usually during the spring, the fall, and the late winter, I'll just do videos about how I do stuff. I really don't do those teaching videos. I enjoy those. So I usually do those teaching videos during winter, whenever there's practically nothing to really talk about except that type of stuff. Like during winter, you're basically just there doing nothing, and live streams are really tough. I've tried to do live streams during winter, and they're just tough. You're just talking about the same things, and sometimes that can be said for these live streams, but you just have a lot more topics to talk about in spring and summer and the bee season. So I'll be doing that type of education stuff probably in winter. I like to do it that time of year, and I think people usually watch it that time of year too. I guess you could call it the bee off season. My recipe is 1 part wax and 3 parts coconut oil, a few drops of essential oil if you want scented. Really, that's pretty good. I have to come back to this live stream and take that and try it out. I actually do have some think some type of chapstick or something that's bee stuff, so you could do lip balm for that too. Well, it looks like we're here at 48 minutes. I'll answer a couple more questions, and we'll kind of get close to winding down. We've had about 23 people in here on the highest, so that's really good. So thank you all for joining in. We ain't done just yet, but we're getting kind of close to that point. If y'all would, if you're checking out, getting ready to head on to bed, please do remember to click the thumbs up button on your way out. Always appreciate that. If there's any more questions, I will answer those, and then we'll kind of get close to wrapping things up. I've been pretty good on the last two nights of getting on the live stream. I was kind of thinking if I should do it tonight or not, but I decided I kind of didn't want to do it, so I decided to do it tonight. I might take a break next week. We'll see. I really don't know. I can't. I try to do it every single Monday night, but I usually take breaks sometimes just to give people just some time off on Mondays. I enjoy a little time off. I need to edit a whole bunch of videos for this Saturday and in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be kind of my main agenda for YouTube. It's just kind of edit videos and get those ready for to upload. And I guess another thing I did kind of want to mention too is that if you don't know already, that I do actually have a email newsletter, which I've had for about a month now or 2 months. 2 months or something like that. Not really a whole lot of time, but I've had it for a little bit. So when we're done with this, so whenever we get into our outro or whatever, I'd appreciate if you just go over there and check that out. Let me just leave a link down here. It's also in the description below, and it's in the descriptions of every single video, or you'll see it in the about section. I usually just use it just for reminders of live streams and stuff like that. It's pretty much the only thing I use it for right now. We'll see about some other things in the future, like newsletters and stories or whatever. I'm not really sure. We'll see. Right now, it's just for me to give updates of if there's going to be a live stream or not, and if there is, where, the time, blah, 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 that stuff. So appreciate if you subscribe to that if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Just if you want to be reminded of stuff like that, or if you want to be, I'll probably give early updates of, live stream giveaways and stuff like that for people who want to know it first. Our flow is very slow. The mimosa and Japanese privet almost toasted in the drought. Thanks for checking in, Larimore. Confounded battery is dying. Good night, everyone. I'll catch up later. Thanks for checking in. I'll be off here soon. So, no, I don't know if Tim and Hayden is still in here. They might be kind of listening in the background. But they were asking in the last live stream if we had, I believe it, if they were asking if we had mimosa. I think that a mimosa tree or whatever, and we actually do. It's kind of on the side of the house, and it's been there for a long time. I've seen it every time when I walk outside on the back porch. So we do have one. I had no idea that's what it was, but that's what it was. It was that's a mimosa, and it does bloom. I guess the bees like it, so I want to kind of pay more attention whenever it blooms. If I can see some bees on there. I'm pretty sure the tallow probably is kind of winding down a bit right now. Things are kind of starting to wind down, but we're still getting in a lot of nectar, and bees are starting to store a whole bunch of honey in the top boxes. It's pretty crazy. All the supers, pretty much every single super that's on the colonies, except for the new ones that I put on there just recently, they're full of honey, slam full. They're doing a good job. Hey, James, No Life Beekeeper, James Noel, thanks for checking in. So, since we're kind of getting close to wrapping off, let me know in the comments to folks in here, how's your season going? Kind of what numbers y'all are at? Because, I'm the one who's, just kind of sharing things, talking and stuff. Let me know kind of what's going on in y'all's neck of the woods, if things are going well, if your season is busy, or how many colonies you have or whatever. I know if my season is busy, having 13 colonies, I'm pretty sure a lot of other beekeepers who have a lot more than me are really busy with their bees. I'm pretty surprised with how fast my bees have been growing and doing things. It seems like just yesterday the colonies weren't really that big, and especially the splits, they weren't really the biggest. And then here we come now, and they're trying to swarm on me and having that type of problem, which is not the worst problem to have. That means our bees are healthy and they're growing and they're getting ready to swarm. Now, basically, what I want my bees to do now is the colonies that don't have queens. I want them to go ahead and hopefully they'll have made queens soon, and then we'll continue to help these bees kind of get going, let them expand. Then we'll go on into fall with our flows there. How's that you can be worried about the flow, and then there's one hive that fills 3 or 4 supers? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I've had that happen before too, Philip. There's a lot of times where I'll be, worrying about the flow. A lot of colonies don't bring in a whole bunch of honey, but then there's one colony that fills up 3 or 4 supers. This year's been pretty decent for the flow for me. I don't know about other people, it might be different. It hasn't been like, I wouldn't say it's like one of the best we've ever had, but it's been pretty good. It's been decent. Tim and Hannah, thank the Lord, we're up to 6 strong colonies now. That's awesome. Um, I came out with 4, so that's more than I came out with. Right now, I have 13, or actually, you know what? I don't like to count the ones that don't have queens. I have 9 that have mated queens, but 6 that's a really good, really good number to have. Starting to grow y'all's apiary. That's really good here. Just keep us up to date with how things go with y'all's bees. I do have one question for y'all. You can just put in the comments. Tim and Hannah, is that the bees that your 6 colonies? I know I've been watching your videos, and I know there was a video where Mr. Russell gave y'all some colonies, which I thought was really nice of him to do that, providing some colonies for y'all to kind of get going. So is it like that and some swarms and stuff like that? I think that in y'all's videos, that's kind of what you're kind of talking about. I can't really 100% remember. I don't have good memory, by the way, if people don't know. Sometimes I just can't remember. There's a lot of things I can't really remember, like especially where people live. That's one thing. It's just I get people mixed up all the time. This year for me, mainly for me, expanding has been splits. Is pretty much what it's been. 2 swarms, what I've got. Richard's at 3, hoping for a second swarm. That's good too, because even though here's been my thought process for whenever I don't have a whole bunch of colonies. I have 2, 3, 4, 5, you name it, 6. Those numbers, I always think if I can get a lot of these bees, into this time of the year, spring, there's a lot of things I can do with those bees. Look, bees will expand fast, and you could be at 4 colonies right now. Tim and Hannah, y'all could be at 6 colonies right now, go into winter with 6. Next year, y'all could probably have 17 or 15. That's kind of what happened with me. With all these bees, will get going pretty good. And what I found was the best thing for me was having double deep colonies and then doing 5-frame splits. You get 4 colonies out of 1 colony. And if you do that, if you have strong colonies, 6 strong colonies, and go to next year, and if your focus is on splits, which was kind of my focus, then you can kind of do that. Well, anyway, I guess we're getting close to ending it off. Not a whole lot more to talk about. If you would, please click the thumbs up button. Mr. Russell was kind enough to give us 2 swarms he caught. That definitely gave us a huge boost this spring. That's awesome. Mr. Russell Amon, he watched the live stream too. He's a really nice beekeeper. A lot of good beekeepers here in this beekeeping community. That's the thing about beekeepers. It's just beekeepers wanting to help other beekeepers. Yep, we're shooting for doing enough splits to get our horizontal hives going again. Awesome. I've always wanted to get some horizontal hives from Mr. Ricky Rourke up there in North Carolina. I believe that's where he's at. I might be getting it wrong again. I'm pretty sure that's where he's at. But I want to get some of those. Maybe sometime in the future, whenever I just I'm in a point where I'm expanding fast and I'm making a whole bunch of honey, making some profit out of it. I might kind of try to get one and test it out and see how it does. Well, thank you all for joining in tonight. We have 12 people on, kind of starting to ramp down for tonight. I appreciate you all joining in tonight. 59 minutes, about to get to an hour. If y'all would, please click the thumbs up button, share this out on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube with your fellow beekeepers or your fellow bee member friends. If you're in a club, let them know to come over here on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Central. Would really greatly appreciate it. Now, whenever we get going here, I was kind of mentioning just earlier, I have an email subscription newsletter that I actually made up a month ago and have like 21. I have 20 members on there, so that's pretty good to start out. So I'd appreciate if y'all would go over there whenever we're kind of heading out here and check that out if you want to. You don't have to or anything. It's just I'm just putting it there if you want, if you're interested. If you're not, that's fine too. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate y'all's support. Everything y'all do for the channel. I want to thank Daisy, Steve, from New York who had a $10 donation sent here. So thank you so much to you, and thank you all to the viewers for checking in tonight. Always appreciate it. So without further ado, thank y'all for watching. Click the thumbs up button, and we will catch y'all next time. Thank y'all for watching.